Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me for the 2023 Dog Days Open. This coverage brought to you by William Pocup. Thank you to Modern Woodman and William for sponsoring this. Starting right off, hole 1, par 3, 272 feet. This hole, played from a different tee pad for the tournament because this tee pad is right in the middle of the way for hole 9, so don't want people getting hit in the face. So we are going to avoid that by throwing from over here. Up first, reigning champion and defending champion Kyle Gray, opting for the straight putter throw, hitting that pole, landing OB on the road. Oh, did I forget to mention, the road is OB. So you are pretty much throwing from OB from this spot. So this playing as an island hole. Jacob Henson now throwing the backhand hyzer, much more common play, and that is a very common result as we saw in the first round that we filmed for the Dog Days 2022. Shout out to that coverage brought to you by me. Edgar Bedolla, the Starkville Christmas Classic champion, coming in representing, opting for the forehand over the road. Pushing that one a little too straight, he will end up in that pampas grass, which is not comfortable and very sharp. We've got Ryan Montgomery. Opting for this very pretty straight flip-up play. He will also end up in that grass, but should be right on the edge. And Joseph Logue, the reigning lefty. Reigning, you know, opting for the simple backhand hyzer. Great throw from him. Great representation for the lefty field. Here we've got Kyle Gray going from where he was last inbounds, which was right at the pole. Giving that one a good bid, just coming up. I mean, it's hard to get the distance and the accuracy all at once, so he just comes up a bit short. Here we've got Edgar really cut off, sailing it over the basket, so it definitely had the power to get it there. Now we've got Ryan from pretty much the same look, just a bit closer. Giving it a little bit of a scuba bid. Jacob Henson from just outside that grass. Still has to straddle out to get around it. Oh, and just getting slightly to the left of the chains. Cutting right through. We finally get to Joseph's drive. Ooh, that was a bit risky there, but still goes in. Catches a stroke on the card, and hole 1 played .28 under par, an average of 2.72. So definitely one these pros want to be getting. Coming up on hole 2, par 3, 186 feet. This hole averaging a 2.47, so definitely one our pros want to be getting. We don't have any OB on this hole. We just have this very sharp left turn around that clump of trees, or we have, as we saw in the first 2022 Dog Days, we have the over-the-top play. So here we have Joseph opting for the flick forehand. Pushing a little too straight, definitely not as overstable as you would have liked, so he'll have a look at the basket for sure. Here we've got Jacob going. I thought he was going to go over the top there, but he just goes flare skip through that sandy spot. Lands pretty deep into the bushes. Edgar Bedolla opting for the over-the-top play, and he will end up left in those bushes. Ryan also opting for the over-the-top. And he will end up a left as well, but not quite as deep as Edgar or Jacob was. And this is a play I was not expecting. The flex forehand from Kyle here with the pig. Shaping up very nicely, making it all the way through. He will end up right side in those bushes. And those bushes are not as dense as the ones on the left or directly behind the basket. So, as you can see, if you remember the first, I'll just call back every time, this tree's been trimmed significantly. Joseph coming up a little bit short, but not the worst result considering what it could have been if they didn't trim all those tree limbs. Kyle getting right into the heart of it from there. That was a very interesting drive. I've never seen anybody throw the forehand, or the right-handed forehand, excuse me. Here we've got Edgar. He's got a little bit of a window, so not total jail. Just coming up a little bit short. And let me tell you, it was hot today. The namesake of this tournament was extremely accurate. Dog days indeed. Oh, Jacob did not go quite that deep. In fact, he gets the excellent birdie from there. So well done to him. Awesome first name. Ryan tapping that one in as well, and the rest of our card going to be tapping in their pars. And we arrive at hole 3, par 3, 325 feet. We've got this dead straight shot. No, I'm just kidding. It's wide open, wide open. You really want to have a left to right finishing shot. So it really opens up for the forehand for right-handed players, the turnover, or the lefty hyzer. So definitely a interesting hole. We've got this little alley there on the right-hand side. So if you get through that first layer of bushes, you will have a look. Jacob Henson opting for the forehand. This one getting a little bit too much flip, but that should work to give him a look at the very least. Hole 3 playing 2.69 average, so definitely another one our pros want to be getting. Ryan opting for this straight driven forehand. Way too straight though. A little bit more height maybe to control the distance next time. And this definitely is a forehand hole if there ever was one. Kyle opting for the Firebird, getting in front of the shot as he likes to do. And I believe he'll be just on the edge of those bushes. I don't think he went too deep. And here we have Joseph's hole. The hole made for lefties. Opting for... Whoa, this is way too much flip. Okay. I didn't remember that happening, but he goes straight into those bushes. Hopefully he got kicked to the right. And here we have Edgar. Looks like a good stability choice, just a bad line from Edgar. He will also end up in those bushes. Here we have Ryan, thankfully not going too deep to not have any look. Ooh. I'm not sure what I would call that, aside from just a bad shot. Not entirely sure who that was, to be perfectly honest with you, but they threw their shot. I think it was Joseph. I think that's who it was. Here we've got Edgar. Just on the edge of the leaves. Gave it the height, but just a little too much of the height. Here we have Kyle. Yep, just like I thought, he was just on the edge of the bushes. Nice, running that one in. Excellent, too, to get. Definitely one you want to be getting. Here we have Ryan for his 3. Oh, just a little too much to the right-hand side with the little forehand flick. Here we've got Jacob, who definitely got fortunate with his shot considering how thick those bushes are in there. I keep saying bushes. There's trees, there's shrubbery, there's any name of plant life in there. So insert your own adjective for that sort of thing. Oh, just a little high for Jacob. He will have a tap in 3. Ooh. Very uncharacteristic miss for Edgar there. Just maybe only 15 feet, missing to slightly to the right. Staring directly into a camera, probably not the most comfortable feeling you've got. Joseph making good on his 3. Jacob to follow suit, and unfortunately Edgar and Ryan to tap in their bogeys. Hole 4, par 3, 266 feet. This hole playing a 2.44 average, so once again, the front 9 really is where you want to be scoring the most. At this course, at least. We have this wide open left-hand side, and as you get closer and closer to the basket, the ceiling kind of narrows in, at least if you're going straight at it. But if you throw over if you throw through the left side or the right side with the hyzer, that really is the play. Kyle Gray to show us how it's done. Nice and low, but that ground play not helping him, skipping down into that ditch. No OB aside from the road and the... I really just, that's it, the road. Jacob throwing nice and wide, nice and high to control the distance. He will end up still a little bit long with maybe a 20-footer. Another hold for the lefties here. Definitely plays easier to go the left route than it does to go the right. Going very high, hoping to spike it in. And that he does. Still goes a bit long, probably 20 or so feet, similar to Jacob. Ryan pulling this one way to the left. It was a fantastic shot if he had hit the line that he had intended, but just pulled that one a bit too much. Leaves himself probably a 40 or 50 footer. Edgar giving this one an ace run. Fantastic shot from him. Here we've got Ryan from very, very deep. Giving it a valiant run there. Kyle from probably the same distance, but more uphill for him. Oh, just coming up left side. Great run from him, though. You can't say anything bad about that, except that it didn't go in. Here we've got Joseph. Making good on the lefty-friendly hole here. Getting the strokes while he can. Jacob with his characteristic I'm not sure what you'd say, but he's always got that huge bag of chalk, making good on his putt. Joseph and Jacob tying it up at 2 down, at least for our card. Ryan making good on his 3. And Edgar with the absolute tap-in, bullseye hit. Great shot from him. And Kyle to finish out with his par. Hole 5, par 3, 289 feet, throwing over this OB road. We've got this wide open right-hand side, although we do have this little narrow window, or gap, I would say, that you've got to hit initially, but it's super wide, very close to the tee. Not what you want to be worried about. But you've got this 289-foot uphill shot, plays closer to 310, I would say. Really, you just want to kind of throw it straight and have a little bit of a left finish. Jacob getting a little too much finish. He will end up probably at 30 feet. But if he had pushed that one a little straighter or maybe a little further to the right, that would have been the play. Here we have Joseph Logue opting for the forehand, as you are to do. And absolutely blasted this one. That was a fantastic shot. He's probably 10, 15 feet away from the basket from there. Joseph has a very, very good forehand. Edgar nice and low, getting some decent play off the ground, I would say. I was hoping that would skip up more towards the basket, but coming into the ground, into that sticky grass at that angle, I guess just didn't help. Kyle also fading out a bit early. Getting some love from that tree. He could have ended up further to the left, but he'll have probably a 20 or so footer from there. And finally, we've got Ryan. Nice and low. Skip. Oh my gosh, hitting the basket from there. Oh, almost ringing it up. So close. Here we've got Jacob. Oh, just a bit low from him. He'll have to settle for the par. Kyle being very courteous and conscientious of the pace of play, opting to putt out from here. Unfortunately, I think he may have rushed himself or just not taken quite enough time for that. He will airball that one to the right. And hole 5 playing a whole half a stroke under par, 2.5 average. Not one you want to be missing from that range. Edgar taking notes, although a little left side still goes in. Scorecard doesn't care though. Jacob tapping in his 3, getting out of the way. Joseph for his 2. Oh, just coming up a bit to the right. Not enough commitment on that one. Kyle cleaning up for the 3. Ryan with the amazing shot, well rewarded with the 2. And Joseph, unfortunately, with that putt, going to have to settle for the 3 from here. And now we arrive at hole 6, par 3, 380 feet. We have this narrow tunnel shot with a very low ceiling and the mandatory, so you can't just cheat and throw over the hill. So you've got to go through here. And you've just got to go through here for a long, long time. We've got the basket here perched on this hill. We have the OB road to the right. And this is a nasty, nasty putt if you get to the basket. Hole 6, second hardest hole, playing 3.34 average, so almost a half a stroke over par. Let's see how our pros take care of this. If that stayed in bounds, that should be a fantastic spot. Nice turning shot, nice and low. Hopefully he got some nice ground play to keep him inside. This grass did play pretty sticky. Ryan absolutely blasting the fairway. Great shot from him. Jacob also opting for the slightly overturned forehand. And Joseph, not having to rely on a forehand, opts for the backhand. Oh, overturned. Getting kicked down by that tree. He'll be pretty short, probably another 150, 200 feet. Somewhere around there to get to the basket. Kyle going very stable, ending up on top of that hill there. That should be a fine spot. Kyle kind of throwing his approach shot a little too straight here. He'll leave himself a little bit of a tester at probably 20 or so feet. And I believe that Jacob and Edgar did go OB. So they are throwing from where the spotter says it was last in. Huge shout out to the volunteers that helped make this possible and help the pace of play by showing people where they went out. Thank you guys. You make this so much easier. And Jacob and Edgar coming up a little bit short on their par save bids. Kyle didn't look very committed out of his hands with that putt. It looked like he kind of short stroked it a bit. So I think he was kind of worried about going long on that one, but he will have an easy 3, and really that's making strokes on folks. Ryan, not being rewarded for his amazing drive, has to settle for the 3. That was unfortunate. Joseph saving the 3, making good on the 3. Edgar in for bogey. Kyle to clean up his par. Ryan to do the same, and Jacob unfortunately having to tap in the bogey. Hole 7, par 3, 289 feet. This drone footage is going to take us to the old pin location. I'm not sure if they use this quite as much or what, but as you see for the old pin, it's just this dead straight shot with the 2 gaps to hit. But for the location that we're currently playing, because this is kind of throwing directly at the tee pad, we've got the location we played for the first Dog Days over there by the road. So just this initial gap, we definitely have the ceiling to worry about, as Ryan demonstrates for us right there. We've got the OB road, we've got that OB ditch that you've got to get across. Looks like Joseph is throwing his, I believe this is his Cervini from Terminal Velocity. Could be wrong. Hitting that initial tree kick and left. Kyle opting for the pig forehand, which he did in the previous Dog Days. Getting over on that one. Ooh. Not happy with that one, ending up OB over the road. He will have some work to do to save the par. Hole 7 playing a 2.91 average, so par is not the worst result here. Edgar with a great shot here. There, he'll leave himself with a 20 footer, maybe a little bit shorter than that. Jacob, a very fast player. Ooh, not being rewarded for his speed there, hitting one of the early trees. Have a lot of work left to do with that OB directly behind the basket. Definitely not showing any fear though with that bit. Oh my goodness. Joseph, nice and straight here. Kind of flirting with that OB a little bit, but thankfully did come to a rest at a good spot. Easy 3 from there. Ryan giving that one a decent bit as well, but just a little far. Kyle coming up short on his par save. Getting the very rude roll from the basket. Should be an easy 4 from there, but that was just disrespectful. Edgar for the 2. Great 2 from him. Getting a stroke up on the card and on most of the field since the average was not that great. Ooh, a lot of left side change there for Jacob, but still saves the 3. Joseph from 8 feet, tapping it in, and the rest of our card to, well, Kyle unfortunately with the bogey, but Ryan with a tap in par. And we arrive at my absolute favorite hole, probably on my dream 9 right here. We just have this 272 foot shot. We have a whole lot of stuff to the left and right, so really, really demanding a straight shot just up the middle of the fairway. Absolutely gorgeous hole. I love it, and I don't think there's any way to improve it. Edgar kissing some of those limbs there. He will end up just slightly to the left of that tree with a little bit of an obstructed look. They did trim those trees a lot to make the straight shot easier. I guess there is a slight, forehand or back. Whoa, my gosh. Ryan hit the wall of the building about 350 feet away with that. That's not quite the line you'd like to take, ideally. Oh my gosh, Joseph flirting with that light post. He'll end up scooting nice and close to the basket there, probably about 20 or so feet. And here's a line I never would have expected. And I'm like, uh-oh, he shanked that. But no, that's what he wanted to do. He will just hyzer over everything because he's the Hulk. And end up in a good spot. Very creative play. Kyle a little high. Yeah, getting punished for the height there. It's hard to give it the height with that low ceiling, so really demands slight turnover. Here we have him from probably 80 feet or so. Giving it a great run. He'll have a little bit of a comebacker. Here we have Ryan from his errant throw. Not really a favorable upshot from there. That's really less than ideal. A lot of work left for that. Kyle making good on his 3. Not sure what was going on with there, but there you have it. Maybe showing off where his disc landed. Just a little left side for Joseph there. Great drive from Edgar, getting rewarded with the 2. This hole played an average of 2.88, so birdie definitely making strokes on folks here. Ryan making good on his 3. Not too much work, thankfully. Politely keeping the hanging basket from swinging. Oh my goodness. Right side for Joseph there. Leaving himself with probably the same distance. Making good on the bogey putt. That was just really unfortunate. Unforced error there from him. And Jacob from right where Ryan was. Making good on the 2 before we arrive at hole 9. And par 3, 363 feet. And subsequently, or not subsequently, excuse me, coincidentally, the hardest hole, playing a .63 stroke over par average. We have the initial tee or initial gap you've got to hit. We've got this OB ditch, and then we have the OB road swinging all around the basket. So accuracy and distance control are paramount here. Edgar opting for the forehand. This one catching stuff a little early left. There's no possible way to film straight down the middle with just one camera and catch where the disc lands, so I opted to move over to the right. And Jacob coming up just short of the OB. He will be rewarded with a good look at the basket there. Ryan opting for the backhand turnover. And I believe this one landed in the ditch. Looks like Kyle opting for his destroyer. Catching something a little bit early. One of those big magnolia trees just before you get to the ditch. Joseph opting for the forehand here. And absolutely rewarded with a great tap-in shot there. Or excuse me, a tap-in putt from that shot. Kyle doing some great work to get up and down. Once again, like to shout out the volunteers we've got. I believe that was Edgar throwing his approach shot. Here we've got Jacob going a little bit long. Getting rewarded with the birdie from such a great shot. It's so hard to get the accuracy and the distance at once, and him and Joseph really showing off that well-rounded game there. Edgar making good on the 3. Kyle with an unforced error there with that very high putt. Very strange result there. Ryan tapping in his bogey. Kyle to do the same. And Joseph for the 2. Great 2 from Joseph. And that will conclude the front 9. Once again, I want to give a huge shout out to the Modern Woodman, William Pokup, for sponsoring this coverage, and thank you for watching.